Let's try some exponents, including negatives, fractions, and let's see what happens. So first, 16 to the negative half, all squared. When you have a power on a power, you multiply the exponents. So you do negative a half times 2, that gives you negative 2 over 2. And all of that is still to this power of this outside negative a quarter. Before I do anything else, I'll simplify. Negative 2 over 2 is the same as negative 1. And it becomes a lot simpler now. I'm going to do the same thing as my initial step. When I have a power on a power, I multiply the exponents. Negative 1 times negative a quarter just makes a positive, and you get positive a quarter. When you're dealing with rational exponents, particularly fractional ones, whatever's in the numerator, that becomes your power, and whatever's in the denominator, in this case 4, becomes your root. So what's 16 to the power of 1? Just 16. What's the fourth root of 16? Try on your calculator. You can take out a calculator too, just to make sure you know how to do it. Depends on your calculator, but on this one, I'm going to type 4 and shift my exponent button, and I get fourth root of 16 equals 2. So the answer is 2. For the second one, I have common bases. They're all base 11. So first on the top, when I'm multiplying the same base, I add the exponents. What's negative 3/4 plus 5/8? Well, I don't know, because I can't add fractions that have different denominators. So I'm going to change this by timesing the top of the fraction and the bottom of the fraction by 2, and I get negative 6 over 8. I'll rewrite the rest of the question. Oh, I might as well do the bottom one too. I know I'm going to need it, base A2. It's 3 over 2. So how do I change 3 over 2 into base 8 times by 4 times by 4, and I'll get 12, make that a little bigger, over 8. Good. I'll save that bottom one for later. Right now I'm going to add these top exponents because I'm multiplying same base. Keep the base, add the exponents. Negative 6 plus 5 gives negative 1 over 8. All over 11 to the 12/8. And so let's see what we get. Negative 1 over 8 minus, because we're dividing, we subtract exponents. Negative 1 minus 12 is negative 13 over 8. Well, whenever you have a negative exponent, the first thing to do is put it under the line, then change the sign. So negative 13 over 8 becomes 13 over 8 positive, and the whole number ends up under the fraction. Now let's change it to a rational that's in the form of a root by saying, alright, look, if it's got a power of 13 over 8, that means take the 11 and raise it to the power of 13, and then take the 8th root. Let's see what that gives us. 11 to the power of 13. Wow, that's a big number. So let's do it the other way. Let's instead, you always can have this option, but remember you can also do the 8th root of 11 and then to the power of 13, just so we save writing out that big number in our calculator. Let's find out. So we'll go 8th root of 11 equals, and then all of that to the power of 13, and we get approximately 49. Let's do 3 decimals, 0.234. Last question, an even simpler one, I hope. 216 to the power of negative 2/3. Whenever you see a negative exponent, put me under the line, change my exponent sign. So it becomes 1 over 216 to the positive 2/3. Let's do the root first again. This will be the 3rd root of 216. And when we're done that, square the whole thing. I can do that in steps too, because this one I see is going to be a nice number. What's the 3rd root of 16? 3rd root of, 216. That's what it says. 6. I have 6 squared, which is, put a little, block that off there, 1 over 36. 6 squared, I know by heart, is 1 over 36.